Okay, welcome to another commentary training thingy. This one is Archery. I've just loaded up my new game, just walked through to Bosper, and I'm going to try and sell as much as I can to get money to buy myself a bow and some arrows. The most basic thing you'll need. Now, I try to sell all the valuable stuff I don't need. Things like my weapons, both of my short bows that you pick up, things like cheese, wine, anything worth anything, spell scrolls, and if you open your money bags, you should have enough to buy yourself the hunting bow, which is the best bow you can get, and a couple of arrows. I've only been able to afford a few myself, but it's okay. You'll get a lot more money for arrows later. Right, so I can't equip my bow yet. I've only got a few arrows, so I'm gonna go down to Lares, or is it Les, whatever you want to call him, and he'll give you can train your dexterity with him to 30, because if you've loaded your new game thing, you'll have 2 levels already, so you can go right up to 30 straight away, equip your bow, and go off to the landowner's farm with him, get a bit of experience, a free fighter, you might as well take it. Now, fighting with a bow is different because it's more about tactics rather than relying on skill. You've got to know what you can take on and how the fight should go before you engage it. It's a bit like being a mage. You should plan it all out before you do something. There's many sides to archery. It's not quite as easy as the sword. You can't go ahead and take on just anything. Skeletons won't be affected, and neither will the trolls. There's a few more animals, but I can't think of them right now. Things like golems. Your arrows just won't have an effect. It's different, although you should go all out. Every time you go something, if you want to be a mage, all on mage. If you want to be an archer, all on dexterity and whichever it is. Archer and crossbow are different, but not much different. Crossbow is a bit slower, but more powerful. Archery's faster, but yeah, it's just not as powerful. And it's not quite like one- and two-handed combat. If you were to go with a crossbow, I would advise joining the militia. If you're gonna go with a bow, then go with the mercenaries. However, in the first chapter, whenever I'm an archer, I just freelance for nearly the whole chapter. I only join something right at the end. There's a few reasons for it. Joining the mercenaries is hard for a starter archer. You have to be good at one-handed combat and basically unskill your way through it, because a lot of it involves fights with one-handed swords. If you were to do a duel with a bow, sure you could win, but you'd end up killing the guy. It's not like a club where you can knock them down. You would end up killing if you struck a fatal blow with a bow. So, joining the mercenaries is hard. Another reason is that Torloff gives you 90 dexterity in Chapter 1 if you wanted to train that high. So, if you join the militia straight away, you'll have better armour, but you're capped by a 60 dexterity limit. Which, okay, yeah, it'll get you through Chapter 2, and sometimes I've done that quite a few times, but I don't know exactly why, but I always like to freelance in the first chapter as an archer. I don't know why, really. However, what you should be aiming for in Chapter 1 is to become as strong as possible with your bow. So at this level that I'm at right now, you could see me take on blood flies and wolves in one shot. Now this is what you should be aiming for. Blood flies, giant rats, wolves, lower goblins, mole rats. Just go into forests, even if they're dangerous, and pick out all the blood flies and things like that. They'll be floating around. You can use your bow as a kind of scanner. You can see stuff that you can't normally see with your bow. This is especially useful if you have a low-end PC and you just can't see very far ahead. Using the bow as a scanner is what I used to do when I first got this game. I was on a very, very bad PC, and I used the bow to see what was ahead and pick my fights out. It was pretty useful. And that was back in the day. Okay, so that's basically what you've got to do. By the time you've killed everything, you can you've got quite a few levels in your hands, and you can just learn some more stuff, go take on field raiders, lurkers, and you just work your way up the monster chain. You can do it all in chapter 1, I'm fairly sure. The best bow you can get is in a lockpick chest. It's called a composite bow, can do about, 40 damage or 45 damage, something like that. It's worth getting if you intend to clean up on chapter 1 like I do. However, if you crossbows, there's a very powerful crossbow near the Highwayman, which is on the way to the pyramids, if you know where all that is. I don't really have that much to say on the subject. Well, I could just walk you through the entire game, but that would take loads of videos. Just relax and really just take the game a lot less seriously. You won't lose any kind of profit with archery because the arrows only cost 1 gold each, so fire away, stock up tons. I buy like 500 at once. Just whenever I'm into archery, it's really more about relaxing because it is tactics. You can look at something and just start to take down the world, you just nimbly avoid all the danger. You can see the shadow beasts and things that you can't take on from miles away with your long range scan system. So just avoid the dangers, pick off the easy ones, then learn. It's really more of a freedom thing in the first chapter. Gothic 2 likes to say that it has a lot of freedom, and people say, well, no it hasn't. Well, some people say. Although it does. It has a lot of freedom when it comes to the first chapter, because you can go anywhere, do anything, kill loads of things. It's all very happy and innocent, really. And you have got a storyline you can follow, but really you could just do whatever. You can go around, hunt, then actually by the time you've run out of monsters you basically want to do a storyline. But from chapter 2 onwards you basically are enthralled in a storyline. There's not that much freedom. That's what people get at. It's freedom in the first chapter. Freedom to choose what you want to be, and the fact that you can make it to the very end just by choosing one path. This is Archery. Now I'm going to cut away from that a little second and show you the bandits. Now, this is a very good example of messing around with the AI system. Of course, all they do is run straight after you and attack in their own way, but when you're an archer you can mess around with them because they just can't get up this place. Some of them do climb up, but it's really easy to take down certain areas when you're an archer because you can just stand on top of obstacles that computers just can't beat and fire at them. Of course, at this part I'm always it's a bit awkward. You have to take a long time because they don't know what's happening, and you're on top of a tall building with straight edges. You can't see straight down. You can't fire straight down. Normally what I do is lock onto if I get a target, I'll lock onto it and start firing. However, it's kind of messed up. It's not perfect, but they do climb up. Right, so now I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. Now I am 30 dexterity and 30% in archery thanks to Wolf, and at this level I can take down lurkers comfortably. I couldn't when I was 30 with 10%, default starts with 10%, simply because my aim, I could only hit them when they were 5 feet in front of me. And now I can hit them at a decent pace. They do the 2 or 3 warning growls like a lot of monsters, and while they're doing that you can try and get your first shot in, and if you're lucky at all then you'll hit them, and you can hit them again on their way to you, so you can nail them off. Lurkers with the hunting bow and 30% dexterity you can take down lurkers and dark goblins in 2 shots. However, I don't recommend that you start fighting field raiders yet. You want to be able to take down field raiders in 1 shot before you start engaging them. Okay, that's volume 1. I'll see you for volume 2, hopefully. I'll make it soon.